story.
Damn story. We're doing it again.
There he is, the one and only Alex Simmons, creator of Blackjack, legendary writer of so many things and so many beloved characters, including Scooby-Doo and Archie and Batman and your mom. And
what?
Well, the universal mom.
Oh,
Everybody's
okay.
mom. Because what's today, Alex? Oh, by the way, who am I?
But yes, who are you? You are Chris, or sometimes Christopher Ryan.
That's right. And I am an independent author, about a quarter of my journey through becoming hybrid. That's what I will be.
Why does that sound like
independent
a sci-fi thing?
I am going to be sci-fi. I'm going to be hybrid, meaning independently published and traditionally published. And we are here, as we are every week, to help you tell your damn story.
That's right. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. But today,
we
have a special episode today because it is Mama's Day. I mean, Mother's Day. Mother's
right.
Day.
So, hey, everybody, your mom. But first,
your mama. Yeah, right.
But before we get to lavishing praise on mothers, in our last thrilling episode, I issued a challenge to Alex Simmons. Now, Alex Simmons had issued a challenge to himself in 2022 to write at least one story a month, and he succeeded. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he wound up with 12 new stories. I know what you're saying out there. Oh my God, I want those stories. I want those 12 stories. But here's the catch. Hilariously, he said, well, I wrote the 12 stories, but I haven't edited and polished them. They're not ready for publication.
That's right, because I didn't swear I'd do that. I swore I'd write those stories.
Being a dedicated co-creator of Tell the Damn Story, I challenged Alex,
being a wise guy,
to edit and polish those stories. And he said, I'll do one this week. And that was the challenge, right? And we're always telling you how to get things done, how to tell your own damn story. So let's find out from Alex, and then we'll move on to Mother's Day. We'll start with a great celebration of success and then move on to Mother's Day. Alex Simmons, tell us about all your glorious accomplishments in editing and polishing and perfecting that story. And now it's ready to go, right?
Wrong. Yes.
What's up, bro?
I got bro. You're gonna have to talk about that. Okay. Anyway, I got halfway through the first story before I ran out of time because, as we said last week, I have a bunch of different things going on, plus teaching, writing, and all that. So I wasn't sure. But like we also say, you attack the problem, you go for it, and you do the best you can with the amount of time you have, as long as you keep progressing. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through the first.
Are you halfway there?
No, I'm 2/3. 2/3.
For a minute there, I thought my co-star here was John Bon Jovi. Halfway there.
Oh, God, no, I just double checked. I promise you will not sing anymore in this episode, right?
As people just leap off the
suddenly people are changing channels fast.
Right.
Anyway,
so 2/3 there.
I look here and I'm 2/3 of the way through.
All right.
Which is very exciting, very exciting. And it's funny too, because it's kind of timely, because as I've done a few times in the past, this particular story was inspired by and is somewhat dedicated to my mother.
Hey, Mother's Day tie-in, ladies and gents.
The location is the southern part of the United States. It's near North Carolina, which is where my family's from. My mother grew up. And so there's a lot of my going back to that place, both from a couple of visits, but also in my mind and the stories and things that she told me during her time there, which my story takes place even years before my mother was a twinkle in anybody's eyes. But anyway, sometimes, again, we pull from our past, we pull from our family experiences, we pull from history, we pull from whatever resources are necessary in order to tell the damn story.
So what are we going to pull from this week to get this damn story finished, polished, and ready to go out the door?
Well,
tell us what you're going to do.
What I'm going to do is, because there's business things I'm doing and there's creative things I'm doing, is I've allocated this evening 2 hours from 7 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's when I will finish it.
There you go, ladies and
First
gentlemen.
wave.
You are hearing history in the making.
Yeah.
And that is how you do it. That's the teachable moment. If you didn't get it, then you dedicate, okay, what more, how much more time do I need? Or what do I need? When can I do it? And make an appointment with yourself.
And then
tell
declare
your
it.
damn story.
So
Declare it
here.
publicly, like on this show.
Yes,
in
come
the
on to
comment
this
section
show.
below. We
Yes.
will accept your declarations of what you're going to do this week. Yes, we will. And then you get to tell your story, and your partner won't say to you, "Bruh."
What? Where's the bra coming from?
All right. I gotta tell you, this is a great one. My brother Soupy, great guy, and he's got a granddaughter called Skylar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the blood ties are, that's the relationship. She calls him Uncle K, but he dotes on her like a granddad would. And he let me know. He reminds me each year that her birthday's coming up. She's going to be this. So we tend to send some cards, and she likes opening up all the cards. Well, me and Glorious went to what would be like
that's his lovely wife, right?
Yeah, the equivalent of like those old time 5 and 10 or Woolworth stores, and we just God bless Glorious on this wonderful Mother's Day. She just kind of let me go nuts. Some things she was like, no. I don't think she'd like that. So
rein that in. Yes.
About 20 things went back, but about 15 things came in, like coloring books. And she likes the color. She likes to draw. So we got sketch pads for her and pencils. And she's like, get colored pencils. Okay, colored pencils. And like goofy things. I got a few goofy things in there. So we sent her a box of fun.
Oh, wow. So that sounds cool.
Yeah, box of fun is a good thing to get. So when she got it and opened it, he called up and he wanted her, so she was like, thank you for my presents. Oh, they were fun, which is all you want from a 7-year-old. You don't, there shouldn't be any more requirements, but
right. They don't have to kiss your ring or anything.
God bless Soupy. He's in the background going, thank him for this, thank him for that. And she turns to him. And what I hear over the phone is, don't tell me how to thank people, brah. It made everything worthwhile. Everything. That was so funny. So every once in a while, I've been saying it in tribute to Skylar. There you go.
Oh my! A 7-year-old, little
7-year-old, and we were talking about it before. Ra's not an East Coast thing. She lives on the East Coast. It sounds to me, always rings in my ear as like a California. Hey, dude. Hey, brah.
Yeah, it does.
What's up, brah? Right. So I thought it was even funnier for that. But even bras,
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or something.
Maybe I was thinking more
that's pre-John Wick,
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fast Time at Ridgemont High.
7-year-old would watch that.
Spicoli. No, that's where I hear it from.
Oh, I hear you. Okay,
but I don't know where she got it from. But that's hilarious. You come home. The kids come home from school with new things. When Sean was really little, he was like, I think kindergarten. He came home and everything was actually, I do like peanut butter and jelly, or whatever he was saying. And we looked at each other, where does that come from? And we went into parent teachers night, and his main teacher, actually, everything. So we knew he was paying attention. I'll tell you one more story in honor of Mother's Day, right?
Okay.
So we switched them early on. The school we had them in, they were losing students, and they were like the only boys left in the class. So we put them to our local public school where they could have, be separated and not be so reliant on each other. All Tina stuff, all Gloria stuff, because she's brilliant and I just follow her around. That's my life. So they get them in there, and we get called in almost immediately.
Oh,
they noticed something that was troubling. Now, young parents, right? These kids are in, I don't know, Tina would tell you, Glorious would tell you, 2nd grade or something like that. We're scared. So what the horror. It's the horror of every parent, but moms, so we go in. You hear that I'm a quiet guy. You never hear, right? So
Yeah, right.
But I'm silent and she's silent, and she's the woman calls us in, and she's a specialist, a therapist of some kind, and she says hello when we sit down, and she starts saying there's something in your son's speech patterns that we can't understand where it's coming from, and she starts asking us questions, and we start answering, and this woman says, "Oh, you're from the Bronx." She was a speech therapist.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So they fixed whatever the Bronx is, and now the kids speak English apparently. But
Because speaking Bronx is obviously
yeah,
a foreign tongue. Yes.
yeah, we would speak it. Well, when everybody's, what's your first language? I say Bronx, because it's definitely different than regular English, you know. So
Oh,
that was a great moment that I shared with my glorious wife, who is a wonderful mom, and we wanted to get into kind of a mom-centric thing. All right.
yes.
So how can we honor moms in telling the damn story? One thing, of course, is to recount with your mom heartfelt moments like that will give you a few giggles, right? So what else can we do? What can we
Well,
do?
I mean,
Because that's still telling you his damn story.
one of the
Yeah,
things too
bro.
is
Yeah,
and
bruh.
I'm gonna smack him. Okay, so one of the things that I do and I've done constantly is I've honored my mom pretty much, and I'd say 85 to 90% of the presentations I've given, no
Yeah.
matter where I am in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like and my mom's wonderful. No, the reality is that my mom, when you consider all of the circumstances that a person grows up with, in my case, a single parent, my mom, raising me by herself, my
Yeah.
dad wasn't in the picture, public assistance, so had little or no money,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes in an environment that was, shall we say, challenging
Yeah.
and hostile, and other times the opposite, because supposedly I was gifted and intelligent. So suddenly we go from being, in an urban school system that one might say is underserved to me being still in a public school in a
Mm-hmm.
classroom surrounded by upper middle class kids and their parents. And here's my mom trying to navigate that.
Yeah.
And she held her head high the whole
Mm-hmm.
time. She became very involved in the Parents Teachers Association thing. She walked the walk and talked the talk, and in some cases wound up defending other people's kids in administrative foibles that came up because she cared. And it became a thing of where people began to look at her as, oh well, Mrs. Simmons this and Mrs. Simmons that. But the other thing, I mean, I got to see that, but the other thing I got to see was, my mom's never told me because I was Black, this wasn't going to work.
Right.
I was going to be held back and I couldn't accomplish this and I couldn't accomplish that. There was real talk about racism, things like that, but that wasn't the meal of the day every day.
Right. Right.
It was, what are you going to do to overcome this? What are you going to do to earn such and such? What kind of work are you going to put in order to get your homework done and to be a good person?
Mm-hmm.
Things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing was I was a nut. I still am, but I was a smaller one then.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wild imagination. I was making up all kinds of stories, playing with my action figures, joining drawings. I wanted to go here. I wanted to go there. And the poor woman tolerated me beautifully and encouraged a lot of my curiosities. And, she got me whatever supplies she could afford to or worked it out with the school. So I had drawing stuff.
Right.
She let me watch, certain shows, nothing, racy, anything like it, but certain shows where I'm, Western this one. And she's going, no, boy, you don't see any Black people. No, she was just going, this person's doing this, the right thing for the right reasons. This person isn't. And to me, I just began to see myself in the world as the person that I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
and started to envision the things I wanted to be based on this woman who had poor health and a limited education and almost an empty purse, walking tall and trying to be the greatest example of a decent human being possible. So I would say that 99% of what I do is in honor of her, because she helped make it possible. And I think as creatives, when we turn around and we create, if you were fortunate enough to have had a nurturing environment, a nurturing mother, acknowledge that somehow, sometimes in a tribute in a book that you've written, or in presentations that you give, or just raise your head every now and then and whisper a little, thank you.
Right. I'm going to take a slightly different tack. My mom had emotional and mental challenges that sometimes made the house emotionally, audibly, and sometimes physically violent. So, and she was very of the Irish tradition of, she was Irish and Spanish, but in a lot of cases, the Irish came out whenever something was created, and I was the creative one of 5 kids. And she would look at it like, what the hell? Or, the don't get too big for your britches kind of thing. And it was my old man who always had a book in his hand and always would talk to you about the story and that kind of stuff. That's where it came from. But this is Mother's Day, so I'll tell you the truth. My turnaround from negativity, which you witnessed early in our friendship and through the years, and self put down and that kind of mocking and all that sort of stuff, that was a really big part of my personality when you first met me. All of that begins to go away, and all my creativity begins to really come forth upon meeting Glorious. She was really the first one. There was a lot of people that supported me throughout, but the first one who said, yes, that's great, or I'm interested, from the heart to my heart. And I dedicate everything I do to my wife. And so we luckily we kind of touch on both ends of the spectrum. And perhaps what we're saying is that whoever that mom is, Glorious is not my mom, but she's the mom of my children, and she's definitely the mother of my creativity. Because rather than doubting myself, she believed sometimes more than me, and showed me the path to believe. And now you are gifted with a much more positive and wonderful to be around partner here. But yeah, so that's, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, right. That's just what I would say.
So that's where it goes. And I guess what we're trying to say is find the person who's the mother of your creativity and honor them today. And if it's your own mom, your flesh and blood mom, and if you had a good relationship with your mom, well, wish them well. My mom is gone, so that's not a thing that I have to wrestle with. Some years it was, some years it was easier, and you roll with all that stuff and find your peace. But with my wife, every day is Mother's Day. Yeah. She would probably disagree.
Yeah, she has a mind of her own. Yeah. I have to say my kids are blessed with a good mom too. She's very loving, she's very caring, she nurturing to the nth degree. I think she would high dive out of an airplane with a questionable parachute for them. Yeah. Not cheerfully, but she would do it.
She would do it.
Yeah, she still bakes and things for them.
There you go.
Shows them things. So I think I think fathers, we have something to live up to.
Yeah, but not today.
Hey, no, I'm just gonna say, if you're fortunate out there and you get one of each, that's fantastic. But definitely, this is Mom's Day, and please, take a moment, wherever she may be, to acknowledge her. And as far as our creatives are concerned, acknowledge them in your work.
I missed that last part. What'd you say?
I said, as far as creatives are concerned, you can also acknowledge them in or through your work.
Yeah. Be a little creative in figuring out what they like and do that for the day. Maybe you learned your love of reading or writing from them,
Yeah. There's a
who
picture.
knows?
There's a picture of a buddy of mine who's a newscaster. And he posted a picture today, two pictures side by side. He's sitting with his mother. He's 55 in the photograph on the right, sitting with his mother, and she has gray hair and everything. They're reading or looking at a book. And then to the left of that is a picture of him when he was maybe about 7 or 8 years old, and they're sitting side by side. Looks like on the same couch, and she's reading to him.
There you go.
It's just a great shot. They're in the same
That's
position,
cool.
but 50 some odd years in between. Yeah, but yeah, that's the connection. That's it.
That's beautiful stuff. So
okay, well, you know what?
Take some time from your writing day.
Right. You've got things to do today for mom, and I've got things to do for mom, and all that good stuff. So, folks, it's a short episode today. Peace to everyone. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. Yeah. And live long and prosper and all that other good stuff. And as you said, Chris, every day is Mother's Day, right?
Every day. Remember, it's all about your mom. So go and tell your damn story to your mom.
Take care, Chris.
Peace.